Good morning. It is absolutely stunning in the estuary. I think it's going to be good out there as well. We've got a single tide day, so that gives me about 3 hours fishing, something like that, by the time I get out there. Absolutely fine for today. We've got small tides, but they're building, which is generally a good sign. And we've got east-northeast wind forecast, which is generally not a good sign. So we'll see what's what. The t-shirt and flip-flops have given away to hoodie and wellies. It's a bit chilly this morning, but the sun's out. It's going to be beautiful. Don't really know what I'm doing. Some of the decision will partly depend on whether I can catch any bait. I haven't got any bait. I've got lures, of course. So just point this round. I've got what I always take to try and catch bait. So we've got some tiny size 12 fish skin sabikis. They come in strings of 6, but they, as well as the fish, they hook into absolutely everything. Ropes, clothes, fingers. So I've cut those down into 2 strings of 3. It makes it a little bit more manageable. And good old mackerel feathers. I've gone back to Fladdens. These are really good. They're inexpensive. They do what they're intended to do. The little red tubing, they tend to slip down, so all I do with those is put a little blob of super glue and accelerator top and bottom of the tubing. That should last a little bit longer. Yeah, so yeah, don't know what I'm going to do. We'll have a look at the conditions, see if that east wind develops, see if we can catch some bait, and yeah, spend 3 hours chasing some fish. Let's get out there. So the decision making process was that the horizon is lumpy. There's still a bit of a chop hanging about from yesterday's east wind. So I've decided to come out to the east and see if there's anything doing along the coast. As you can see, I'm not very far out. As a general rule, if the weather's a little bit unpredictable, if it's forecast east, I'll come out to the east. If it's forecast southwest, I'll go down to the southwest. If it does blow up a bit unexpectedly, or a bit more than the forecast, then it's a quick, safe dash home with a following sea. Doesn't always work out like that, but that's the plan. So yeah, just try a couple of spots for a little bit of bait first. Nice mackerel on the sabikis. Lovely. I would prefer some little sand eels about 6 inches long, but yeah, mackerel's brilliant bait. Put some water in there. Sea temperature is so warm. It's 17.7. With that east wind, I'm not tempted for a swim there. That mackerel's too big to use as a live bait. Some people would, but yeah, I'll fillet that off and use it for bait, definitely, unless I catch anything smaller, in which case I'll fillet it off and eat it myself. Feels like another mackerel for the sabikis. Oh yeah. What was I saying about sabikis hooking everything? There's my finger. It's dropped off into the tackle bag. Nice plump eating size, that one. Beautiful. So mackerel are wonderful. I'm always happy to catch them. Always happy to take them home for food. Great bait. There's another. Just drifting between two lines of crab pots. The first drift with the speakies picked up 3 mackerel, which is lovely. So I'm just trying the same drift again with some mackerel feathers this time. If that's what's sat here, maybe they'll do the job a bit more efficiently. Or I might draw blank. Little change of plan. The yeah, bait fishing's not massively successful. 3 mackerel, lovely. But I think when I get to a tidal race just a little bit further up the coast, the tide is going to be just about right for bass and casting a lure to them. So yeah, just having a little bit of a bounce and a salt spray into the sun. So got the specs on just for watching out, looking out for crab pots, and I'll switch back on when we get there. See if my prediction for the tide's right. So I've made it round the corner, past the tidal race, which was lumpy and horrible, as they always are. What I was hoping to find when I came round the corner was a load of bird activity, a load of stuff going on the sounder, and it packed with commercial rod and line fishermen giving it a try. None of those 3 have happened. But we'll have a cast, see if we can find anything. It's a beautiful day this side of the tide. Oh, what was that? It might have been a seal. If it comes up, I'll put the camera that way. Definitely something strange came out of the water there. Hopefully, if it was a seal, he's chasing bass. It's a beautiful spot here, just under Start Point Lighthouse, but the fish are not feeding, so I'm going to go around the corner back again and try somewhere else. I'm going to stick around here for a little bit, hoping to see some bird activity, but a very good commercial fisherman from Salcomb's just turned up. He's only here for bass. It might just be that I was a little bit early arriving. Keep an eye on him and see what he does. Come out to a little bit deeper spot, 28 metres of water. I think I've got a better chance of catching some mackerel for eating or smaller ones for bait. I'm going to use sabikis and mackerel feathers. See if I can't pick something up here. Closer in by the lighthouse, I was watching that commercial bloke for 20 minutes or so. Didn't see him catching one, so if he's having a bad day at the office, my chances of pulling out a bass are extremely slim. So yeah, try it out here. I'm going to just leave the feathers over the side like that. There's enough motion in the boat for them to be jigging those up and down. So maybe something to eat on that one, and some bait on this one with the speakies. Oh, we've hooked into something. Just filleting those mackerel off, and the feathers are going off, the sabikis are going off. Unless I'm all in one big bundle on the bottom. They are perfect. They're lovely size for bait. They are a perfect size for bass bait, so that's lovely. Got 4 of those. Just drop that one down and something's taking it straight away. This feels more eating size than bait size, hopefully. One of each there, one eater, one bait size. I'll drop this down again, but that's enough bait. 5's plenty for the time I've got. So I don't want to catch any more small ones. But if there are some eaters there, they'd be very welcome. I love mackerel. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. Great fish, great eaters, great bait, and you've always got a smile on your face when you're catching mackerel. Another lovely bait size one on the sabikis. Got enough of those. Can go. This is bait size again, so I think we'll leave it for this area. Yeah. So 2 more that will be good for bait. There they go, swimming away healthily. So I'll have a sort out, finally finish prepping those fish, and then we'll move on and use the live bait. See you in a minute. Right, that's a little tidy round. I've done with the sabiki. I'm not sure what I'm doing next, but I'm done with the sabikis. So I've just put the casting lure back on that rod. I'm going to head back towards start point over there, see if that commercial guy is doing any good, and then decide what to do. We've got 4 mackerel filleted off and in the igloo. We've got the belly strips just sat in the bucket there in case you use those. We've got 5 healthy joeys for live bait, or if I don't use those I'll release them. I'll just keep, I don't have a live bait tank, but I'll just keep changing the bucket in there just to keep it well aerated. And yeah, that's it. Head to start, see how they're doing there, and make a decision from there. Well, I'm back off start and the commercial bloke isn't here. He does it for a living. He's spent the time and fuel to get over here and he's gone. So that tells me all I need to know. Heading off to another drift and we'll try those mackerel out. So I've come to a different area, very close in. It's just beautiful here. It's under the shade of the east wind. Ditch the hoodie and it's as good a place to not catch fish as any. So what I'm going to do here, I've got an elastic band stopper going down to, as long as I don't get tangled up in it, a bead and a float and a swivel. That's got a locked in lead that will just carry it down. Then about 2.5 foot of trace, something like that, going on to a circle hook, and we're going to put one of those joeys on there. So I'll put that out, get that fish in, and then I'm going to rig up just another one that's completely free lining. Right, there goes the bait, there goes the float, and then I'm in 14 metres of hot water here, so I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's not a counting lesson. 9. Stick that about 10 metres down to the stop, so it's not going to get tangled up in any of the longer bits of weed or anything. That's bobbing about, so it's, let me see if I can show you. Don't know how well you'll see that, if at all, but that's bobbing about with the mackerel swimming up and down. So that should be just perfect to attract a predator. The reason we use a circle hook on that is because I'm paying out all this free line, so I'm not really in contact with the bait. So the theory then is that if a bass takes it, it'll run up against that little lightweight. The circle hook just drifts into the corner of its mouth and it hooks itself. That is the theory. This might end up drifting on the other. Okay, so the float's out doing its own thing. For free lining, couldn't be simpler. I use a Cox and Roll pre-tied rig. The hook size doesn't really matter. This is a 6.080. If something's going to take a joey mackerel, it'll take whatever hook you put on it, really, you know, unless you go silly. But these rigs, they're negatively buoyant anyway. They carry a little bit of weight, so I don't have to add any lead to them. And then take the joey and hook it just behind the dorsal fin, and that will make it swim down naturally as well. So a bit of weight, hook it like that, and that it's already gone straight for the bottom. It would have done if I wasn't tangled around the end. So that's made a beeline for the bottom to exactly where I want it to be. Last ditch attempt here for the last, well, I've got another 20 minutes, I suppose, something like that. So I have 3 rods out. The free lining rod, that's just swimming around. I've got a similar setup but on a boom and a lead, so that's a couple of meters just off the bottom, and I've got some mackerel feathers off this side. Yeah, hoping to pick something up just on the last drift. I'm afraid I think the writing was on the wall when that commercial bloke turned up, had 20 minutes and left. Might have picked up a bonus at the end of the day. I'm not sure how that's happened, but it's hooked itself on the lead. Right, I'll sort that one out and see if there's any more about. That's it. I've pretty much run out of time. I'm going to start heading back to Salcombe, have a tidy up. I've got one live bait left, so that can go back alive. It's still swimming really healthily in the bucket back there, so that'll go back. 5 mackerel for the table, which is really nice, not to be sniffed at. A bass would have been nice, but yeah, that commercial bloke leaving says it all really. It's about, was it 6 miles from Salcombe to get round to the point. It's leisure fuel for me. I'm happy. That's his profits. So if he decided that it's not going to be a day to catch bass, then yeah, I haven't got a look in really. Might have got the odd one, but it wasn't to be. Not to worry. It's a lovely day. It got me out on the water again, which is always fantastic. But I'm going to keep the mackerel feathers on, and if I see anything likely on the way back, and I do stick the feathers in, I will switch you back on. Otherwise, I will see you next time. Cheers. I've just switched on. You probably won't capture that. There's a kingfisher just past that heron that's on the bank there. Anyway, good morning. Oh, there it is. Haphazard filming. I hope you saw that, the blue flash of the kingfisher. As I was saying, good morning. Part 2, day 2. I was not planning on coming out today, but yesterday wind, I was held inshore. Water always is, but not that satisfactory fishing wise. So I'll just point the camera the other way. I'm sneaking out on the very first of the tide. The east wind has given way to absolutely nothing. It died down last night. There's a little bit of northwest forecast, but really slight. So the plan today, I'm going to push out to an area of rough ground. I've fished it before, but not on the flood tide, so it'd be interesting to see how it goes. I'm not stopping for bait or anything like that. I'm going to push straight out there. Same as yesterday. I've only got 3 hours, maybe a little bit more than that, because I've snuck out so early on the tide. And we're always a little bit ambitious as fishermen, so I've got a 5-part plan today. Bass, cod. Bass and cod are just the fish of choice in my area at this time of year. So bass and cod, that's the first 2. I'd like to bring some mackerel home to eat. I'd like to catch some bait, and then for the final hour, scratch around for something something different. And that could be anything. John Dory, turbot. So the ambitious 5-part plan. If I could do 2 of those, I'd be very happy. If I achieve 5, it'll be a first. If we don't achieve any, well, look at this. It's a day on the water. You can't go wrong. I'll see you out there and we'll see how we do. Smoke on the water. Someone should write a song about that. Right, here we are. Bit of rough ground somewhere off the South Devon coast. I've arrived at where I want to be. Switch over. I'm just going to drop the feathers down first just to see which way the drift is. There is a little bit of just a gentle northwesterly and a flooding tide, so which we're going to drift is anybody's guess, to be honest. So yeah, quick drop with the feathers. I'm not really expecting to pick anything up. That's just something to do while we wait for the drift to settle. And then when I know which way the drift's going, we'll drift across it with some lures. Just set up for the first drift then. The Joey mackerel's my favourite lure, but the last time I was cod and bass fishing I had more success with a white one, so just got a white sidewinder on. Give that a go first. I might be underpowered on the lead here. I've decided to stick with a 4-ounce lead to start with. Lighter the better, it's more fun. Although I'm drifting miles behind the boat, so see how it goes. It's a beautiful day. It's cold. Always keep the snow on board. It's a really good piece of kit. Yeah, the water's warmer than the air at the moment, but a lovely day. First drop. It's not massive, but it's lovely to catch. Funny, that wasn't a bad tug. Yeah, not massive, but first drop. Yeah, I thought so. They nod to the bottom. It's generally pollock going for a dive back down to the bottom. Oh, you can tell the water temperature's up. This fish is warm. There we are. Nice condition pollock. Dropping down for drift number 2. No excuses this time. Although, as a fisherman, I do have plenty, of course. A bag full, in fact. No, very happy with the position of the drift this time. Just need to get it down. There we are, on the bottom, 45 metres away. If you've not done drift fishing with lures, couldn't be simpler really. Put it on a boom so it doesn't tangle when it's dropping down. 6 or 8 foot of trace, something like that. I use fluorocarbon, and then get it down to the bottom. Sometimes you have to wind fairly fast depending on the location to get them clear of pouting or obstruction, something like that. And then about just a slow wind or whatever retrieve speed you think to put a bit of life in the lure. 20-30 turns off the bottom, drop it back down again, repeat until a big fat hungry cod takes it, or bass, or anything. luck on the lures, just that one pollock. So I'm just going to have one more drift here on the slow jig. The lures imitate a live fish. The drift has slowed right down to 0.3 of a knot, and the predatory fish tend not to get on the feed when the tide's pretty slack. So the slow jig, whereas the lure imitates a live fish, the slow jig just flops up and down like a dying or injured fish. So the theory, so I think it anyway, is that if the fish can't be bothered to come and swim after a live fish, they might be tempted to come out and take something that's a bit of an easier target. We will see. Give it one drift. So you can take it all the way down to the bottom, you can have a few turns up, wherever the fish might be. Well, something's gone for the slow jig. Greedy pout. Something keeps hitting that slow jig. The optimistic angler in me says it's bass hitting it. The realistic angler in me says it's full of small pouting down there. Well, that's not doing a lot either. One pollock to the lure, one pouting to the slow jig. I think we'll move on. Find a little different area. Spot number 2. This is the same area of rough ground, just a different feature on it. So the first one I was trying to fish a gully. This is more of a ridge with a bit of a pinnacle at one end. So back onto the lures. Hopefully there's a little bit more water flow over that bigger feature. It looks like the whole fleet's coming out here. So 3 boats heading out this way. 2 already here, 1 charter boat, which gives you a little bit of confidence. 1 on the Warrior. Whatever it was has just come alive. properly. That is... I can do this without being spiked to death. That is an absolutely massive red gurnard. The biggest I've ever caught. So I think we can call that one of the 5 ticked off, but that was supposed to be the last thing scratching around at the end. I'll sort this out because it's well hooked through his bony mouth. So that was a beast of a gurnard. Yeah, biggest red I've ever caught, and they taste fantastic at that size, so that one's coming home with me. Come back round for a drift. I'm just sticking the mackerel feathers out. That gurnard absolutely wrecked the sidewinder, so I've gone back onto the little red-tailed joey. Yeah, one down on the list, I'm calling that. 4 to go. Hope I don't regret putting that pout back. Fortunate, chucking those mackerel feathers over the side then. Yeah, nice eating size fish. Or bait if I need it. Down again. One thing about a choppy day, oh, it's not choppy, but it's not glassy either. Let the boat do your jigging for you. More mackerel. Lovely eating size. So I think we can go 2 off the list now. Mackerel to take home. So lure's not very good, just pout in, slow jig, nothing. So I've just filleted off those 2 mackerel, taken the belly strips off them for some baited feathers. Something's taken it straight away. I was hoping for mackerel. I don't think this is mackerel. Caught 5 yesterday, and we were having mackerel for food tonight. So I needed 2 more to go with it, ideally. The 2 I've got I don't really want to use for bait. No luck catching a cod with a cod lure. Stick a basic feather on. And there it is, just a lovely marked little codling. I'm not ticking that off the list though, because that one's going back. The one off the list I want for the table. We've got our bait for the bottom. No, it's not the fish we want. Okay, so like most of my fishing, very simple this. Sliding boom, a couple of foot of fluorocarbon, and then that's onto just a long strip of the pouting fillet. Just hook one so it doesn't spin, hopefully. And we'll drop it down here. Hopefully not get snagged, because it is a little bit snaggy. See if there's anything lurking on the bottom, and hopefully it just doesn't get ripped to death by other pout. It's right, you can get plenty off the fillets without taking it off to fishmonger standards. Also, what I'm left with is quite a meaty, bloody carcass. So if I do decide to use that, I don't think I'll have time for it, but there is a wreck part way back, and there could be ling hanging about, and that would be lovely bait for ling. Oh! It's a John Dory. Let me get the hook and see if we can get a better look. Or a listen, see if you can hear it. Just croaking away. What a lovely fish. And fantastic eating, but this one unfortunately is not quite big enough to get a fillet off it. I'll have to do something with that one. That one hasn't gone back, which surprises me. Gills. I'm going to put it in a big bucket of water with lots of oxygen in and see if it recovers. It is a decent size, it's a nice pollock. That is a really thick, meaty pollock, that one. going back there. It's a last drift fish and it's a scrapper. Don't know. It could be a big pout, but it feels a bit fighty for that. Some colour. And we have a lovely cod. It isn't the biggest in the world, but it's fat enough to get a nice fillet off. I'll finish this drift and sort that cod out. I'll have a look in its belly and let you know. I was hoping that this was going to be a brittle star ground. I sort of picked it as a random area, but that was the hope. So we'll see what's in its belly, and that'll confirm it or not. It feels soft on the bottom, which could be sand, or doesn't feel weedy, but it could be just bouncing the lead into brittle stars as well, which if it is, I've already marked it on the plotter as a potential area for cod. And that's another weighty fish. Oh, this is a good fish. Not Bristol Channel monsters, but for this area, it's a good feeling fish. Colour on it. What have we got? That is another very nice pan-sized cod, and it has absolutely devoured that lure. I don't even know if you can see it in its mouth. It's that far down. Right, so I was hoping I might have found a brittle star bank. Hope you can see those. Cod absolutely devour those. They love them. Might try one more cheeky drift. Right, one more very quick drift. Oh, this is a real fighter. It was a real fighter. The weight's still there, but the oh no, there it goes again. Yes, it's another good fish off this mark. There's another similar sized cod. Beauty. Just pop that on my board there. Yeah, they're just shy of 50 centimetres. My board's 50 and they're just under. All fish are they're all the same size. Brilliant table size fish. That's 3 though. That'll do for the freezer. I'm nearly out of time. So I'll head back into Salcombe for a sort out. So that's yeah, yesterday a bit less than productive. Today, what did we say? Step 5 points to try and catch up on. Bass unsuccessful, cod successful, mackerel yes, got a couple to take home. That's all I wanted. Catch some bait, yeah, caught some pout, but didn't actually catch anything with that. And then something unusual, well, a massive red gurnard and that lovely John Dory, that was a little bit of a shame really, but I would preferred to put that one back, but did my best, and that'll be a lovely table fish. So yeah, overall a very successful day, and look at this, absolutely glorious. See you next time.